Hello, everyone, and welcome to the a second installation of this series that I still don't have like a solid name for, but right now I'm just calling it, is it banned/limited or not? And I've got another friend named Serge on the call here. Hi, Serge.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. Yeah. So Serge you've played Magic, you said, for like 20 years, right?
Yeah, I've been playing since the middle of Mirrodin Block, which was like I think it was like 2005, 2006. Whenever Darksteel got released, that's when I hopped into Magic with my old high school friends. And then I took a brief hiatus in kind of the middle, which was really funny because I played a format called Extended. At the time, there was this little fan-made format that was just starting to gain traction. Mm-hmm. And me and my friends kind of brushed it off. And so I took a break for like 4 or 5 years, came back, and that format became the most played format in Commander, which is played format in Magic, which is now Commander. And the format that I used to play, Extended, had been retired, so all of my decks were not legal anymore.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, it had been divided up into Modern had already been a thing, but they kind of just like extended what Modern encompassed, I think, and then they also created Legacy, which was kind of like older cards, but not quite everything like vintages. Okay.
I'm like, I know of the format names, but as far as the finer details of like what they entail, I'm not completely sure personally myself. So I'm sure people who frequent Magic at least have a rough idea of like, when you started and what you're talking about exactly. But yeah, so mainly I've known Serge for a few years probably now at this point, right? Just on and off, like chit-chatting.
Several years,
yeah. And so since he is a frequent Magic player, I figured Shadowverse, from rules perspective, is not terribly different than Magic. Like, yes, there are obviously things that are clearly different, but I feel like if you know Magic, you probably know about like 50 to 75% of the rules of Shadowverse. So, and everything else is, there's a lot of crossover. So everything else, like, you can usually like kind of like pick up pretty quickly. Before we get to the first card, just for everyone else watching and they kind of understand the context, I'm going to be showing him. So I kind of have it bundled into like 11 sections, but the first 3 sections, basically I'm going to show like a sample card and then a real card that he can rate if it's banned or limited. Whether he gets it correct as far as if it's actually, if he thinks it would be limited but it was actually banned or vice versa, it doesn't matter. If he's correct, that's all that matters. I mentioned to him previously, but it seems like he probably is going to be fine without it, but if he wants to take notes, he could. There will be at least 1 card banned/limited. Again, in this whole thing, it's just the same category, banned/limited. There will be at least 1 card that is banned/limited, but they could all be banned/limited or only a few. So just kind of keep that in mind. And obviously, feel free to play along if you're watching, if you want to take a guess and you're not super familiar with Shadowverse cards. I'd hope to think this is kind of fun. And he can ask any questions about the cards. I can't imagine a question being so in-depth that like it would kind of ruin the answer. But if it kind of starts getting that category, I might like say like, I'm not going to answer it or not really give a great answer. The banned/limited cards could be banned currently or anytime in the past, or I don't think this is the case in these set of cards, but potentially into the future, but I don't think that's the case. It's either current or past. There are going to be a few supplemental cards to help Serge have better context with the card, but he only has to guess with the 1 card I show him. He doesn't have to guess with the supplemental cards. And there in general, from beginning to end, it'll start off easy and then just kind of gets a little bit more complex as we go along. It's nothing like super, Magic the Gathering, like adding a card to a stack, playing a card from the stack, re-adding a card to a stack, and like all that kind of like extra intricate work that like Magic could have. The game doesn't work. It isn't that complex enough to have those kind of like super weird interactions. And I'd like to imagine the text is pretty clear enough that it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where there's like weird rulings based on if you say if versus when or anything like that. So it should be pretty much plain Jane text. And there are going to be, I forgot to mention this to you before, Serge, but there's going to be, and I purposely did this, there's going to be a few cards throughout that are kind of, you could kind of see like maybe a reference to Magic in regards to like the effect it might have. It's not going to be like, I'm trying to think of like an example. Like, what's the 1 mana 3 damage spell that's like Thunderbolt? Like, there's no like, Thunderbolt Shadowverse card, like literally like the name or anything that like just does the same thing, but like you can tell by the effect, it's like, okay, it's very similar. It's kind of like the Shadowverse equivalent, Thunderbolt.
That's fair.
So, and obviously I'll reiterate some of the rules, not only just for you as we go along with like at least the sample cards, but as for the listeners as well. So so let's get to the first sample card, and I'll show you this one can evolve. Not every follower can evolve, but this one can. I'll show you the evolve once you get done kind of checking this card out.
Okay.
So we got Healing Angel. It's a 3 cost, 2 attack, 4 defense. The orange F means fanfare, and it just means when it enters the board from anywhere, whether it's hand, cemetery, whatever, give your leader 1 defense. So you as the player is called the leader. So if it just says give your leader 1 defense, it just means essentially you heal 1.
Okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for fanfare, that's basically just ETB triggers in Magic.
Yeah.
It's just whenever something enters the battlefield, this happens, and there's a lot of those. It's not necessarily a keyword in Magic. Everybody just refers to it as ETB because it's always, when this creature or when this card enters the battlefield, X trigger happens.
Yeah, ETB, enter the battlefield. Yeah, they just literally, and actually, well, you knew the word before because you looked at the previous videos, but yeah, for people watching, the orange F means fanfare, and it, like Serge says, it just means enter the battlefield. There's also one for when it leaves the battlefield, but, we'll get to that if it gets to that. The gold E means it can evolve, and it can evolve for 1 play point, which play points are the mana, which is what it costs in the upper left. The 3 is the cost. It's like the mana cost. There's no, specific lands like Magic. They're just points you get every turn automatically each turn.
They're just all colors or no colors.
Yeah, and normally, except for one kind of exception, which will probably come up, honestly, but normally, basically, turn 1, you have 1 mana, turn 2, you have 2 mana, turn 3, you have 3 mana, etc., etc. And the person going second gets 3 evolve points, which you can use 1 per evolve to help kind of get a little bit of an advantage. Basically, the evolve point could be used instead of a play point to evolve the follower, but nothing else. Just literally for that.
Yep.
And it's just how I'll give the second turn person like a way to kind of stay in the game, instead of always being behind. Okay, so this is the evolve. The unevolve is also pretty straightforward, but again, it's just to kind of give you the idea. It turns into a 3/5 instead of on the previous base form, it's a 2/4. Most evolves give a +1/+1 in stats. And the unevolve, it just gives your leader 2 defense as well. So like in total, between like doing the base and the evolve, you would heal 3 playing this. The one thing that I do want to mention that it is more of a game rule and not like written on the cards is evolve followers can attack other tapped followers. I'll use Magic terms for this situation, but they're called engaged followers in the game, but just tapped followers. Unlike Magic, which I believe you have to just like declare all your attackers, right? And then your opponent declares all the blockers.
Yes.
In this game, you can specify like, okay, this follower will attack either like face or attack a sideways follower.
Okay.
There's a keyword that allows followers to attack standing followers, but that's, you'd have to have the keyword to do that. Normally, you're only allowed to attack.
That strike? That it?
No, it's called. So it's kind of funny. So the keyword is called rush.
Rush, that's the one.
Yeah, which is funny because technically in the rules, I always simplify and say if all followers have rush. Technically in the rules, when followers evolve, they get the ability to attack the turn that they evolve. That's like literally, like it is not technically rush, but it acts like rush. It's weird. I wish they would just literally just say give the follower a rush because it's literally the exact same thing. There's like one weird use case that it matters that it is not technically rush, but it never comes up. So
okay, so they get hasted.
Yeah, they get haste. It's like creature haste, where it's like, okay, you can attack, but you can only attack sideways creatures,
Yeah.
Storm, if you see Storm, which I believe Storm will be in one of these cards, Storm is like unmitigated like haste of like, you can attack your opponent or attack a creature. You still can't attack a standing creature, but you can attack either the opponent or a tapped creature if they have Storm.
Okay.
So this was just a sample card for anyone watching. Serge doesn't have to rate this or anything. So the next card also has an evolve, so that's why I was kind of starting off with like a follower that can evolve. So the first card is this one, and it's the base form is actually pretty simple, but yeah, you can feel free to read it.
Crazed Executioner. He's a 3/3 cutthroat for 3, and he has just pay 1 of all this follower. Okay.
Yep, so he's just a vanilla on base, which a lot of followers are vanillas on base. So that's nothing like super out of the ordinary.
Crazed Executioner. On evolve, deal 2 damage to your leader. Select an opponent. They reveal you their hand. Select a card in their hand. That opponent discards that card.
Yep. So I kind of partially chose this because I figured this was about the closest reference to a magic card. I'm curious if you know which one I'm talking about, but a certain magic card.
Is this... oh god, this has got to be a black card, and I don't usually play much black.
Fair. But yes, it is a black card.
Played color. Yeah, no, this is definitely a reference to a black card.
Which is funny because I'm trying to struggle to remember what the actual name of the card is off the top of my head.
I have it in my head, and I can't think of the name of it. But I know what I could picture this card in my head.
Yeah, I can see it. It's like a fairy that's like trying to extract something out of someone's ear. Kind of thing, if I remember correctly. Thoughtseize, thank you. That was the card. I thought this was very similar to.
I was like, I know this card.
Yeah. No, I figured it was kind of like Thougtseize, where it's just like, what is it, like 1 mana at instant speed or something?
Just 1 black.
But in this case, I mean, you are hurting yourself too, so there's a little bit of a downside. Also, I don't know if you noticed, and like I said, this is kind of the exception more than the rule, but the base form is a 3/3, and the evolve form is also a 3/3. It never gets a buff, never becomes a 4/4.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that this is probably just fine to have.
Okay. Any particular reason, or are you just vibing that like?
So there's no increase in attack or defense on evolve, so you're basically paying the extra mana on this to hit yourself for 2 in a 20 life format, and then I mean, getting to discard whatever card you want from your opponent's hand isn't nothing, but at the end of the day, they could have things that like run recursion or like reanimate, or they could have stuff that they could, I mean, they have multiple copies, so they could potentially just draw it again. Like being down 1 card, or being down a couple cards isn't really the worst thing in the world. And then the 40 card format.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot you did notice it was a 40 card format. I never mentioned that to you, but yes, you're right. 40 cards, 3 copies. The only other thing I wanted to mention, if it weighs your opinion anyway, is it still has that like rush ability to, so it's kind of like a 2-for-1 potentially. But I'm just throwing it out there just to make sure you understand. Like, I just taking everything.
The rush ability is for all evolved cards, right? So like, I can't really take that into consideration because that's just a base on all evolved cards ever. So
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Now I'm going to show you. There's one supplemental card to maybe give you a little bit of context to kind of either it might change your opinion, might not. But here's the card.
Lyriel, Archer Throne, 2/5 for 3. She has quick.
Yeah. So the first line you can kind of feel free to read, but it's not like the point of the reason why. Like it has to do with Crazed Executioner.
Deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. Your leader doesn't take ability damage.
Yeah. So if Lyriel's on the field and then you decide to play Crazed and evolve him, you don't take the 2 damage because that's ability damage, and you still get to reveal, your opponent still has to reveal their hand and have you discard 1.
I mean, if you're playing this combo, you're playing this turn 3, turn 4, respectively.
Yeah, because Lyriel would be 3 play points to play, which would be turn 3, and then Crazed is 3 to play, and then 1 more to eat. Well, that's 4.
Yeah, and then you eat the 1 for evolve.
Yeah.
I just feel like the value isn't there. I'm gonna be honest.
No,
it just doesn't get you enough, even if you aren't taking the 2.
Yeah. Final answer. Just figured.
Yeah, I think this card's fine.
Okay, and you're right. It is fine. It was in set 4. It was kind of like it was actually a pretty good strategy in set 4 with this little combo. I mean, set 4 was not a lot of cards. There's only been 4 sets. So, maybe I'll show it up on the screen for people. But another card called Soul Dealer, that when you play it, you take 3 damage, but then on evolve you can destroy an enemy follower and you heal equal to the follower's attack. So the idea is like, okay, I'm going to eat 3 at the moment, but hopefully I can kill something that's 3 or more and mitigate all the damage I just took. So Lyriel was nice because you wouldn't eat the 3 on the summon, but then you could still evolve Soul Dealer and up something to heal more. So there were a few like self-damaging cards like during set 4 that kind of had really good synergy in Abysscraft. This is an Abysscraft card, the red border.
Yeah.
So
I see the little symbol next to the attack.
Yeah, right here, and the on the base form, it's in the
mana cost.
Yeah. No, you're good. Yep. It's not. It was never banned / limited. It was a good card. It was fun to play, but yeah, it was never banned or anything.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a bad card. I just don't think that it's so incredibly good that it would need to be limited or banned.
Yeah, exactly. It was a fair card. All right, next one is this card.
All right,
this is a sample card. So this is just to introduce amulets. Amulets have a cost at the top left, and then they're like enchantments or equipments where they just kind of sit on the board and do stuff.
These are kind of like enchantments or like artifacts.
Yeah.
Once per turn, your leader gains life.
Defense. Yeah, basically when you heal. Yep.
Give each follower on your field +1/+1.
Yeah. So normally, usually healing is done on your turn, but there are like I think a couple cards that could heal on your opponent's turn. It's like at the start of your opponent's main phase, like heal one, and then it triggers along as prayer. But yeah, this is a very just simple card. I just figured show you. The card to talk about is this one.
Dracomancer's Rites. This is a 3-cost amulet. Fanfare, discard a card. Give your leader 1 health.
Yep.
At the start of your end phase, if you discarded a card this turn, select an enemy leader or enemy follower on the field and deal it 2 damage.
Yep.
You discard a card this turn.
And to give you a small bit of context, the fanfare, you see how it says discard a card :
Yes, that's the cost.
That's the cost, and costs are optional in this game. So even though it doesn't say you may discard a card, it is optional. Yeah, you could play this down and not heal 1 and just be like, I play it, moving on.
That's interesting. Okay, it's the opposite in Magic, because anything that's before a colon like that is a required cost or potentially an additional cost. And if there is an optional cost, the card would typically say that there's an optional cost. Or if the card has like multiple abilities, it could be like broken up where like you could technically not pay for the first ability and let that effect part fizzle, and then the second ability would still trigger because it doesn't have the additional cost associated with it.
Okay. Yeah. No, yeah. So like that's why I just want to specify that, because you would probably think it was optional. It would say like you may discard it, but if you don't do the cost, you don't do the effect. You still will keep at the start of your main end phase part, everything underneath, but you just won't have the discard to heal 1.
Okay, so by itself, this doesn't seem that bad. Obviously, it has a way to proc itself and give you a life.
Right.
On ETB. And then at your end phase, it deals either 2 damage.
No.
I'm not sure if there's many. I'm just not sure if there's many effects in this archetype that would cause you, or that would want you to discard cards for various effects.
Okay. 2 things is, first off, keep in mind you have 5 slots on the board, and you could have 3 of these on the board potentially if you're running 3. I'm not sure if it sways your thoughts or opinions at all, as far as like, okay, it's only 2, but if you have like 2 or 3, now it's like 4 or 6.
I think again, I'd have to know like how likely is it that you're going to be discarding cards on like every turn.
Okay. Let me show you the first card, the next supplemental card, first supplemental card, and it has an evolve, so I'll show you the evolve as well, but here's the base form.
Okay. Burnite, Anathema of Flame.
Anathema. Yeah, but you're fine. Yeah, potato.
Dragonoot for 7. Costs 2 less to play if there are at least 4 cards in your cemetery that cost 7 or more.
Yeah, so keep in mind, it's at least 4 Dragoncraft cards. This is a Dragoncraft card. So instead of saying Dragoncraft, the word, they just have the logo. So it's got to be 4.
Okay, so they can't even be neutral cards.
Yeah, they can't be neutral.
One of all this fanfare, discard a card, select an enemy follower on the field, deal damage equal to the card's cost, and draw a card. Okay.
Yep, so it's a cantrip.
What do you mean it's a cantrip?
Like the fanfare says, discard a card, deal damage equal to the cost, and draw a card. I think there's like a term that cantrip is like when you discard a card and draw a card, it like just cycles a card in your hand.
No, cantrip in Magic is cards that cost 1 or 0.
Okay.
Or no, sorry, it's cards that cost 0, because it's a reference to D&D, and cantrips in D&D don't use any like spell slots.
Oh, okay.
They're effectively level 0 spells.
Okay. Then my bad. I thought cantrip meant it was like a card that basically was just like draw a card. Like I play this, draw a card. It was just swapping it around. A cycle.
That's that's either cycling or what is it? Is it scrying? Oh god, which one?
Well, scrying is check top card, right?
Yeah, scrying is checked out, but there's one that lets you like draw and then discard. And I forget what the damn keyword is. It's a blue keyword.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember at the moment, but yeah, no, there definitely is a term for that. It's just no. Usually, cost 0 spells in Magic, which are usually artifacts.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we either refer to those as cantrips or we refer to those as Cheerios. Because they cost 0, so their mana cost is a big old Cheerio.
Yeah, that's funny. That's good. Okay, but yeah, so I mean, I guess just to finish off the fanfare. So you're not like actually like losing hand advantage because you're just drawing a card off of the discard, or just pointing that out there.
But this is just another way to proc discarding a card
of Dracomancers, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll go to her evolve form.
On evolve, discard a card. Select an enemy follower on the field, deals damage. Okay, so same as the
same effect.
First. On super evolve? What's super evolve?
Actually, that's a good point. This is the first time I think. So super evolve, when you played that one game with me, did not exist yet. But basically, it's a normal evolve, but you can also declare an evolve being a super evolve once per game after either turn 6 going second or turn 7 going first. So the second turn player actually can super evolve before the first turn player. And when you super evolve, if a follower like this has any on super evolve abilities, you get them, and they also get an additional +1/+1 instead. So if you super evolve Burnite here, she'd actually become a 7/7 instead of a 6/6.
Okay.
And it kind of fits with all the whole like 7 cost of everything with her so far. Okay. This card is in an archetype called 7 cost because all the cards are kind of like big dudes.
Yeah, I kind of surmised that.
Yeah.
Give your leader +5 health at the start of your end phase. If there are at least 7 dragon cards in your inventory that cost 7 or more, deal 7 damage to each enemy leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want me to swap between like cards or anything to like reread them, like just let me know.
Yeah. Can I see the card that I'm supposed to be judging?
Yeah.
This
yeah.
one. Yeah. At the start of your end phase, if you discard a card, select an enemy leader or enemy follower, it deals 2 damage. I don't know if this card. I mean, this card's definitely not banned. This card's definitely not banned.
Okay. Are you saying that because it seems like Burnite is more like ban worthy? The 7 damage on the because keep in mind, like, if she lives, if you can't kill her on your turn and she lives, like, your opponent can punch for 6 or 7 depending on what her stats are, her attack is, and then you just be like, I end my turn again and burn you for 7 more.
I mean, I'm thinking that she might be limited.
Okay.
Just so you can't run 3 copies and then have her other copies in the cemetery count towards her own
burn
abilities. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think I'm kind of leaning towards that this is fine, because at the end of the day, it's an amulet and there's no way to it doesn't have built-in removal from the field, so it's just taking up. So like if you want to run 3, cool, but then you're gonna have 2 slots on the board available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not an inherent way to get rid of these. So I think this is probably fine.
Okay. Final answer?
Yeah, I think I'll lock that one in.
Okay. You are incorrect. Dracomancer's Right is actually limited.
Oh, okay, that is limited then. I was kind of like on the fence between is it fine or is it limited. I knew I pretty much knew it wasn't banned.
Yeah, no, it doesn't like scream like ban worthy. So a part of the if you kind of knew the history of like some of the limited cards, so Burnite is kind of like the boss monster of this 7 cost like deck, and Cygames / Bushiroad, I guess, depending on whoever determines who limits or bans cards, they don't want to touch the boss monsters because they're kind of like the cool, flashy, fun move of the turn.
Okay, that was going to be one of my questions: is who determines the ban list? Is it the community or the company that makes the cards? Because that's a big difference.
It's the company. I mean, like, people might kind of gripe a little bit about a card being a little too strong or something, but it's never like, I guess in like the Yu-Gi-Oh community where like 90% of everyone is like screaming like, please, for love of God, ban this card, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's honestly less of my concern and more the fact that if it's the company that makes the cards controlling the ban list, they are less likely to ban cards in a set that they want to either showcase, or like in the case of Magic, if it's like a Universes Beyond set and they're paying for the license to be able to print the art of these characters from other IPs, they don't necessarily really want to ban them. That's I still think that's part of the reason why VV took so long to get banned from Final Fantasy. Like, it took months. That card was so broken and it should have been banned like immediately, but they let it run the boards They let it run the tournaments for a while. I think like 75% or more of like top 8 tournaments, like top 8 seeds in tournaments were all like red-blue BB decks.
Yeah. In this case, honestly, so what's weird is this one did get only recently relatively limited. I kind of think this is fine, honestly, at 3, but I think the main concern is, first off, it seems like, at least in Japan, from like kind of the hearsay I was hearing, was like people were kind of getting really good at getting 3 of these on board like pretty easily, and that was actually fine because your dudes are so big, you tend to only just play 1 card like on the field per turn, outside of the Dracomancers, right? But just the followers. So like, sure, you might have 3 Dracomancers, right? And you're like, oh, you're limited to 2 cards on the field. And for context for people, amulets rarely get destroyed. They like, it is a very hard thing to remove amulets from the field.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how like much, because I know there's like follower spot removal, but I didn't know if there's like amulet spot removal.
There's, off the top of my head, as far as generic amulet removal, I think there's like 2 cards, and I know there's 1 card in the class I play that can remove amulets, but like they're so overcosted that it is just like not worth. You're almost like asking your turn just to be able to remove an amulet, and it's just like just not worth it like 99% of the time.
It seems like a lot of amulets either have built-in removal by themselves, or the point to not having the built-in removal on an amulet is so that it's the player who's playing it is kind of locked into that slot being taken up.
Yeah, no,
so
there are some
not
amulets.
Getting rid of it is more of a detriment to the player that plays it than the actual opponent sometimes.
Yeah, and because you're playing such big dudes in 7 cost, like having 3 Dracomancers or 8, you're just like, okay, like I'm playing 1 dude a turn anyways, and you're probably just gonna kill it on your turn. So like I'm not board locking myself by keeping 3 Dracomancers rates on the board. And for context, because I don't think I've mentioned this for people watching, but you can only have 5 amulets or followers on the board, unlike Magic where you can have like limited whatever you can summon. You have 5 slots, and you can't call over your own dudes either, so they have to be removed, whether by battle or destroying them by card effects or something, you know.
I think the key information I was missing was I didn't realize that it was so hard for other players to get rid of amulets. I kind of just defaulted to Magic. Like in Magic, like artifacts and enchantments are pretty easy to get rid of.
I say 2 generic amulet removals, technically 1, because so there's 2 neutral amulet removal cards, but 1 is like attribute locked to a certain archetype. So like it's just never going to actually happen. But the generic one that I'm thinking of is a 4-cost spell that does have quick speed, which is like instants in Magic, but it's 4 mana to play. And if you're paying 4 mana to just kill an amulet on board, like turn 4 is actually like decently into the game, where it's like you could be ignoring a lot of stuff on the board and just to kill an amulet, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah, honestly, like if they printed like a 2-cost generic just destroy target amulet, I don't think that would be the worst thing.
No, if it was cheaper.
I don't even think that they would limit that. Like just running 3 of those might actually be like fine.
Yeah, if it was cheaper, like it'd probably be more playable, but I think a part of their design philosophy is they kind of want amulets to kind of not be super easy to remove. I mean, we're like 18 sets in and there's not like any good removal, you know. I think they want them to just kind of sit on the board. So next one is Angelic Snipe, which is just I would say this is probably about as close to Thunderbolt as like Magic. It's a 1 cost, has quick, which is like instance, but unlike Magic in Shadowverse, you can only play quicks when something is declaring attacks or at the end of the opponent's turn. So it's not it's like a half instance. It's only like at certain key moments. But yeah, it's a 1 mana quick, select an enemy file on the field and deal 2 damage. It's not 3, but you know, it's kind of the baseline. Like there's a lot of like 1-cost deal 2s, and we just call them, they're Angelic Snipes, or they're Snipes, you know. Okay. So nothing crazy. And then this one, I'm curious if this is hopefully, I thought this one was a pretty good reference to 1 card in Magic, but go ahead and read this one.
Fall from Grace for 3 generic. Quick, select a follower on the field, banish it, and give its leader 2 life. Its controller draws a card. Yeah, do you know
what this one is like a general reference to?
The art kind of looks like Abdominion Angel a little bit, like the original Abdominion Angel art, but I don't... God, why am I blanking so hard on Magic card names? Goodness.
I don't know, Mr. Been playing for 20 years.
I mean, these are probably... Okay, so you say that, but like these are probably like references to older cards that have probably been a little power crept. Yeah,
usually if it's like a reference to a card, it's kind of like a more like an older iconic card. If you give up, I can just tell you, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's
that's fine.
Figured it was a pretty close to Swords to Plowshares.
Oh, okay. That's why. I was like, what? I was like, what 3 cost?
It wasn't the cost.
Exiles and gives 2 life, and then you get to draw a card. I wasn't thinking about Swords to Plowshare is 1 white, and you exile target creature.
And they heal equal
and
to
then its controller gains life equal to its power.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was cost or power. Okay. Yeah, this is similar where it's like you select a follower on the field, and it can be your follower or the opponent's follower, and you banish it, and whoever controls it gets 2 life and draws a card.
Okay. I mean, goodness, for 3, it's probably not. This is probably. I don't know. I think this is probably fine.
Okay.
I mean, it does have quick, so you could just in response to attack exile, but I mean, you can do that with swords, so.
So keep in mind too, if this gives you any better content, I actually don't have any supplemental cards for this one. This is only one of the few that don't, but keep in mind that the last word effect, that purple L, which means when it goes from the field to the cemetery, activate the effect. That doesn't trigger with Fall from Grace because you're banishing it instead of sending it to the cemetery.
Yeah, so, it's like exiling.
Yeah, it's like exiling, exactly. So just letting you know, I didn't know if that helps you give any better context. Unfortunately, there's no card that goes with this. It is just the card.
Yeah, so you're exiling something, but you're also giving that opponent +2 life, and you're letting him draw a card.
You're right, but it's any follower.
I feel like this
you could banish.
I feel like this
Burnite.
is fine.
You think it's fine? Okay. You think final answer?
I mean, for 3 mana, you're having to hold up 3 mana. I mean, it's probably late game that you're playing this when something beefy comes out, but that's, I don't know. That's 3 less mana that you spend on your turn. That's quite a bit in the late game, or it can be.
I mean, I would say for what it's worth on average, I'm trying to think. Late game in this game is, let's see, well, the mana goes up to 10.
Turn 7?
Yeah, by anywhere from 6 to 8, usually you tend to have someone's starting to clearly kind of get into the lead and will probably win.
Yeah, so I mean, the turn you're playing this, you have 4 mana that you're
and then floating 3.
You're either using this 3 mana and then you have 4, or you're using 4 on your turn and then you're holding 3 mana for the opponent's turn.
Right, which granted is pretty telegraphed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're holding up as much as 3 mana in the late game, you're gonna do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you're really out of cards.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I feel like this is fine.
You think it's fine? Okay. Final answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're fine. You're right. It's fine.
Okay. I was like, this is Swords to Plowshare, but worse because you're just giving the opponent so much.
I was hoping that maybe it being a relatively similar card to Swords to Plowshare might sway your thoughts a little bit.
I mean, Swords to Plowshare isn't banned or limited, and you can run 4 in the deck.
Yeah,
in the standard deck if you want.
Yeah, but it was I think at one point it was decently strong if I remember relatively correctly. It's a nice card.
It is strong. It's a 1-drop instant.
Yeah.
So but then again, spot removal is a lot more common in Magic. There's also a lot more ways to recursion from the graveyard. You can do a lot of graveyard play. I know that this gets exiled, but the thing is in in a 60 card format, like standard or something like that, or modern, deck slots matter a lot more than Commander, where you have 100 cards in the deck.
Yeah, and they're all singletons.
Yeah. In Commander, they always say deck thinning is deck winning because the whole thing is you want to be able to get to the cards that you need to get to, and you need to be able to just shift away all the chaff either by doing tutors or drawing or cycling or milling or just whatever.
Right.
But in a 60 card format, you're a little bit more likely to draw what you need, and you can play 4 Swords to Plowshares, but you could also just play cards that are more effective than that.
Yeah.
Not saying you don't play any. You should probably put 1 in.
Right. Yeah, but it's not a do or die, I need to run 4 or I'm just super behind or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I'm trying to add a little bit of mind games to this, see if it sways your thoughts or opinions on anything. So you didn't fall for that one, at least. So we'll go to the next one, and from now on, it'll just be here's the real card, no samples, because those are the only 3 card types in this game: is followers, spells, and amulets. All right, next one is Bunny and Baron.
Bunny and Baron? I'm a bunny.
True, you are.
It's me. I'm the bun.
I didn't even think about that.
I was gonna say, did you put this card in here on purpose?
No, it was actually here. I put it in here to explain a mechanic in this game, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, feel free to read it.
Bunny and Baron Spectre duo is a 3/3 Wasteland Thief for 3.
Yep. And then here's
and
the
it's just evolve.
Yep.
On evolve, choose one. Summon a Val Trusty Getaway card token, or search your deck for a Desperado's Shot. Reveal it, add it to your hand, then shuffle.
Sure, I forgot to. Well, I don't think the Desperado
you have those
shot.
cards on hand.
So actually, I forgot about the Desperado shot. So give me 1 second on that.
Oh, I get it. So Veil is the obvious choice then, isn't it?
Well, so funny enough, yes, but for all fairness, like I might as well like let you read the card. You know, the Desperado shot, at least so you have just better context in general.
That's fair.
And honestly, like 99% of the time, you are just playing like the Val. So, all right. So from here's Val. I'll show you the Desperado shot in a second, but here's Val.
All right. Val's a 3/3. So tap it. A Bunny and Baron Spectre do it. Wait. Tap. Oh, I have to tap Bunny. You have to tap Bunny and Baron.
You have to tap Bunny and Baron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maneuver this for the rest of the game.
No, for the rest of the turn.
It becomes a follower with 3/3. Okay. Isn't it already a 3/3?
So if you notice in the bottom left, it's not a follower. It's an amulet.
Yeah, it comes in as an amulet.
This is kind of there's only a couple like driving mechanics cards in this game, but I figured it's a nice like reference to crewing in Magic. Yeah.
Well, so crewing is temporary. Crewing only happens for a turn. Well, I think this is more akin to station.
No. So this is for a turn as well. It says for the rest of this turn, it becomes a follower.
Sorry, I thought it said for the rest of the game. That's my bad. Okay, no, you're right. This is essentially crew 1.
Yeah. So you can either so you can tap Bunny and Baron to basically make it a follower that's a 3/3 for the turn. Go ahead and read the second like bullet, the little second green diamond.
Pay 1, tap 2 followers on your field. Maneuver this. It gets Storm and Strike. If there is another Wasteland follower on your field, draw a card.
Yeah, so a little bit of context because like the text doesn't really differentiate where things begin and end. You can either maneuver this by tapping Bunny and Baron for free, or you can maneuver it by paying 1 play point and tapping 2 followers of anything to maneuver it.
Yeah.
But regardless of which way you maneuver, Val does have Storm and the Strike effect. I'm just letting you know, it's not like you have to do one to get the effects or not.
Okay, so maneuvering it makes it the 3/3.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. And I'm assuming that you get to draw a card by default just because Bunny and Baron is also a Wasteland card.
Yes. So if you played Bunny and Baron, evolved it, and you're like, I get Val the Trusty Getaway card, I'll tap Bunny and Baron to maneuver, and it becomes a 3/3 for the turn. Has Storm, so it can just punch the opponent for 3 for automatically. You know, it's like haste. They can just punch. And when it swings, because Bunny and Baron is a Wasteland follower, you would draw a card. The
That's
second
good value.
Yeah. And the second maneuver is not done like nearly as much, and it's more of like you have the car on the board, but you don't have a Bunny and Baron, you want to maneuver it somehow, then you have to tap 2 followers and pay 1 play point, essentially.
Yeah, that seems less great.
Yeah.
Especially because you're just getting the 3/3. And you might not even have another Wasteland. I mean, you probably would, but you might not.
Wasteland is it's an archetype in the game. So Wasteland is a pretty common.
Okay.
But yeah, so what happens? Just to give a little more context, because the card doesn't say this at all. If Val, like let's say Val swings into like a 2 attack follower, so it takes 2 damage back and it's now down to 1 defense. When you end your turn, it loses the stat, so it stops being a 3/3 or even like a 3/1 because it took 2 damage, let's say. And so if it gets back around to your turn again and you maneuver it again, it becomes a 3/3 again.
Yeah, I would assume that just because it's how it's worded in the maneuver.
Yeah.
It just says that it becomes a 3/3.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it's just kind of the game mechanic of like amulets don't have stats. So when it does turn back into an amulet, it just kind of forgets what its stats were. So even if you buffed it, it just like loses the stats, you know? So that's some crew and a lot of station cards are like that, where they have stats, but they're like an artifact. Or they're like an artifact vehicle that comes in, and then you either station it or crew it, and then it gains the stats that are represented on it. Yeah, and then just to show the Desperado shot from the second effect option, I'm just going to show you that as well to at least give you a full idea.
Shot. Select an enemy follower on the field and deal 4 damage. If there's a Bunny and Baron Spectre Doer and Veil's Trusty Getaway card on the field, deal 6 damage instead. and deal 2 damage to the selected follower's leader. Ooh.
Yeah. So the idea is
you obviously need the Veil first, but
yeah, the idea is to do Val first when you evolve Bunny and Baron, and then you can Desperado Shot later because you'll ideally have both on the board.
Yeah.
So the card in question is the Bunny and Baron as far as like if you think it's banned/limited or not.
So Desperado Shot is not a token.
No, it is an actual card like you search out of your deck and put it to your hand.
But Veil is a token.
Yeah, tokens just like auto-generate out of the ether and just go onto the board.
Yeah, I was just wondering like if you could search Veil or if you could pull Veil or if you could pull Desperado Shot. But it looks like you can pull Desperado Shot, but you have to generate Veil.
Yeah. There's no tutoring for Veil because there's not in a deck. You know, it's just there.
I'm probably gonna say that this is limited to 1. Otherwise, it could get kind of crazy.
In what way?
Just because if you're evolving Bunny and Baron, you could generate multiple Veils, and then you could just have like multiple Storm Strikes go off.
True. Do keep in mind they need like multiple either like Bunny and Barons or like multiple followers on the field to maneuver each one. It's not like you can tap 1 Bunny and Baron and like maneuver like 3 Vals on the board for what it's worth. Just in case. Okay. Just want to make sure you understood that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. The Storm Strike combo, just being able to like haste, hit face, and then
draw a card.
Being able to draw a card. And you can do that every turn. It's not like it loses Storm or Strike. You just have to maneuver it. So as long as you have Bonnie and Baron on the field.
Or 2 followers and 1 play point.
Yeah, or 2 followers. I feel like it's limited because it's just once you have it out, it's just a free way to get card advantage.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I know that you only have I know that you only have so many play points, but like if your board's already kind of like set up with this, then it just generates more options for free.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So final answer, you're just saying like it's limited to 1.
Saying it's limited.
Okay. I'm just gonna switch back over to Bunny and Baron, but you're wrong. It is actually perfectly fine.
Oh, is it? Darn.
Yeah. So for context too, I mean, it was so it came out in set 11, and it was strong in set 11. The problem is like you really don't want 2 or more Vals on the board because it starts to get a little like on space because it's like you need a Bunny and Baron to maneuver 1, you need 2 more followers to maneuver the other, and later in the game like 3/3 with Storm is like, hey. Like at this point I'm playing like 4, 5, 6 attack/defense followers that like it's not that big of a deal. Plus, Val is actually very weak. It's a 3/3. Like, things can deal 3 damage back pretty easily. If Val runs into something as a follower and it goes to 0 defense, it dies and just like goes off the board.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. It would just die, and then there's no way to get it back because it's an on-evolve effect.
Yeah, unless you evolve Bunny and Baron again. Yeah. Also, it was more common back in set 11, but you could run quick damage spells to deal 3 damage to this when it attacks. So like you'll still draw because this on strike effect still triggers where you get to draw a card, but then you can just be like quick, like kill it for 3 and it's just like gone. It's
okay.
3 defense when you have removal spells and stuff. 3 defense is like not that.
That's fair.
Yeah. And the other problem too, and this is kind of more of like a more now current issue. Well, I say issue, but it's just kind of the way the game went. So you're playing Bunny and Baron on like turn 4 ideally because you have to play 3 play points and 1 to evolve it. And to do that just to get the Val card that just storms for 3 and you draw a card and that's it. And you're like literally ignoring whatever threats your opponent has on the board at the moment. It's just like, okay, cool, I eat 3 and you drew a card. But anyways, my like 2 or 3 followers on the board are just going to start punching you and kill Bunny and Baron easily. Like, it doesn't help you. Like, if you're ahead and you do this, sure, this is good, but like rarely are you ever like that far ahead on turn 4. It's usually like a back and forth kind of, feeling.
I also forgot that this is akin to crew and not station.
Okay.
Crew in Magic the Gathering is not good.
Oh, okay.
The crew was introduced in Aether Drift, and Aether Drift is a very famously not good set.
I was gonna say, I remember people like kind of grunting and groaning about Aether Drift. I didn't know like the details, but just like the general vibe of the set.
Yeah, crew really sucks because it just you tap a bunch of because if you have like crew 3, you have to tap 3 creatures to crew it to do the one effect until the end of your turn.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the same thing with,
that's not
you know.
good. That's why they came up with station.
Okay, where it's like for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's like you get station like tokens or like markers or whatever, or you get station counters, and then once station gets up to whatever certain amount, the effect happens. But since they're counters, the counters don't go away.
Okay.
And also, even a creature with summoning sickness can station.
Okay. Well, same thing with this actually. Like the I think in Magic, like effects that make you tap a card you can't do on like the turn it's played, like because of the summoning sickness, right?
Yes, unless it has haste.
Unless it has haste, yeah. In Shadowverse, like that, like there is summoning sickness, but if there's an effect that just says like tap this to do something, like you can still do it when you play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's different in Magic. It's a lot more limiting, but yeah, no, station was very nice in the sense that you could play something and then just tap it, and it's not like crew where you have to tap the whole creature. Actually, wait, does crew is it equal to your power for crew? Because I know it's equal to your power for station. I don't. Okay. To the surprise of absolutely no one, I don't play anything with crew because really bad.
Yeah, for what it's worth, and at least in Shadowverse, when
it is power for crew. It's still power for crew, but it's
okay.
Yeah, no, they basically you tap a creature and it would either crew up to the amount that the creature's power was, or for stations that gains that many counters.
Okay. For comparison's sake, like maneuvering in Shadowverse is actually like a perfectly fine mechanic. Like the mechanic itself doesn't have any problems. It's just like this card, at least in this instance, there's only 2 cards that you can maneuver. But in this instance, this is fine when it came out, but it's just due to power creep and stuff. It's just kind of fell off. That's all.
Yeah, in Magic Crew, it's just too slow.
Okay. I'd say at least for Val.
Like it's too detrimental to your own board state to just tap down a bunch of stuff every single turn for like really not that great effects most of the time.
Yeah, and yeah, I'd say like in Shadowverse, it's like, you know, like I said, it's fine, just a little power crept out at this point. But yeah, but it sounds like with Crew and Magic, it was kind of from the get-go, like just mediocre from the get-go.
Yeah, it really wasn't received that well, and that's kind of reflected in a lot of the price of, like, if you want to go and buy Aether Drift stuff, it's generally the cards are very, very cheap.
Fair. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's Bunny and Baron and Val. We'll go to the next card here. Have at it.
Planetary Fracture. It's an 8 cost. Banish each card on the field and in the EX area. Each player banishes the top 10 cards of their deck.
Yeah. So for context for the EX area, it's just a 5-slot open hand area. Like you can play cards from the EX area, but it's just public knowledge of what the cards are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would say this is fine, but it's probably limited just due to the fact of like game pacing. Mm-hmm. Where like if you're at 8 mana, you're at like the end of the game basically. And this is just like I know we were finishing up, but like I'm gonna board wipe real quick. But also at the same time, you're spending 8 mana to just like double board wipe. Because it's not just it's your side too.
Yeah, it's your side too. Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, cool, done, pass. And then plus they get all the mana.
Plus also you lose 10 cards off top of your deck as well.
Yeah.
In a 40 card deck. Like that's a quarter of your deck. Okay. Now I'm going to show you one card, see if it helps with give any context or change your ideas or opinions.
Choose one circular for an Archfiend card, reveal it and add it to your hand, then shuffle. Select an enemy follower on the field, destroy that, and deal damage equal to your leader.
Deal 3 damage to your leader.
Deal damage to your leader.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I show you this is because Planetary Fracture is an Archfiend attribute card.
Oh, okay.
So, Embodiment of Cocytus is mainly the first effect. You can basically ignore the second effect.
Yeah, so you're basically using this to tutor.
Yeah.
But, like, you're not... That's the thing is, like, if you're spending 2 to tutor for this, you're not playing it on the same turn.
No,
it's turn 10. And at which point, something has gone horribly wrong with your deck.
It's very true. You are not wrong. But you can always do it like turn 2 and like, grab it. And granted, you can't play it for another 6 turns, because you have to get to 8 play points.
Yeah, but like if that's your turn 2 play and you're not doing anything else, like what are you doing?
Yeah. It's very true. Yeah, you're not doing anything on the board or anything either. Yeah.
Like this card, like honestly, the card's probably fine because it's probably not great. The only reason that I could think that it would ever be limited is just for pacing reasons.
That's fair. No, well, and I mean, this is just a supplemental. Fine. Okay, so
I meant Planetary Fracture.
Oh, you think Planetary Fracture is fine? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you are wrong. So it actually was initially limited to 1 before it even came out, and then just as of yesterday, it was actually officially banned.
I don't see why. You have to play this so late that it's like, and it gives your, like, yeah, it wipes the board and it cuts 10 off the top, but like then you can't do anything else. You just end the turn, and then your opponent starts with fresh mana.
Yeah. So
and then they could just hit you in the face for like whatever.
So as far as why they initially limited it, when it came out in Japan, this was available at 3 initially in Japan. And what everyone did was they just played like the stalliest of stall decks, like just cards that only destroyed things on board, and just like controlled the board and just like didn't commit anything to actually like push for game. And then they would just be like, oh, late game, I got 3 fractures and now you're decked out and I win.
Yeah, like that's what I was talking about. Like if having this card is limited, that would be for the pacing of the game.
Yeah.
Because obviously if you're getting to this point, you're you're generating stall tactics in the mid game to get to turn 8 to begin with, to get this card. And then but like
so I can give you more context, but yeah.
I just don't see it working incredibly well, because like if opponents have stuff with like, I don't know, like Storm, then they could just, even if you're doing back-to-back Planetary Fractures, they can just in between hit you in the face. Well, and they have 3 turns to do so.
There are decks. So there is one color. I was going to say color. It's called class in Shadowverse. But there is one color, quote unquote, that is one of its main pros is constant healing, or at least like above average healing. That was mainly what this was run in, was a deck that had like a steady stream of healing, so you could deal with Stormers. And if they're all like kind of weak Stormers, you could just let them sit on the board and keep punching you, because it's just like, okay, I'm taking like 3 or 4 damage a turn, and I'm just, you can't play anything else because I'm not killing anything. Also, for what it's worth, and this is more of a, I guess, design philosophy with the developers, there's an archetype so there's certain like core play styles for every color that they constantly like release support for. One of them is Necrocharge, which is just you get more benefits the more cards you have in your cemetery. And even at 1 copy, I can't tell you how many times I have been like, okay, I have game next turn, I have easy lethal next turn. My opponent's like, how many cards you got in deck? And I'm like, 9. And he's just like, Planetary Fracture, pass. And it's just like, cool, I can't draw a card, so I lose the game. And so, and Necrocharge is like one of those like core play styles in Abysscraft that Cygames always wants to be like at least semi-relevant. And so Fracture just completely made that playstyle just like a moot point and just stupid.
I guess that's fair. Like, I get it. It's literally just pacing reasons for the most part. It's just, it draws out the kind of playstyle where they just stall the game out for 10 turns and then
Fracture.
They don't win by hitting, they don't win by like killing you. They just win through like weenie tactics.
Yeah. So that, and then it's just I think they finally banned it, and I think it's mainly because it's still been a tactic that people can just kind of stall. And even with 1 fracture, it's enough to just be like, okay, even if you're not Necrocharge, like how many cards you got left in deck? Like 12. Okay, I'll just wait a few more turns. Okay, now you're at 10. Okay, fracture, pass, I win. And it's just really dumb. It's just an unhealthy like play style, essentially.
Yeah, in Magic it's much harder to do that, because I mean there is the whole like mill archetype deck. Like you could have like a hardcore mill deck. Yeah. But there are obviously many ways to counter stuff like that. You have like what was it, Gaia? I think Gaia, not Gaia's Cradle. Gaia's Blessing. One of the Gaia cards that like if it's ever put into your graveyard from your library, you shuffle your library, or you shuffle your graveyard into your library. Or you can like Felden's Cane is a fucking Cheerio.
Cheerio. All right, 0 cost.
Yeah, and then you can just, it's an artifact and you can just tap it, and it's just shuffle your graveyard into your library.
Yeah, honestly, like it was kind of funny because I remember somebody yesterday in like the Discord being like, "Happy Screw Planetary Fracture Day," because it finally got banned yesterday. Honestly, I was actually kind of shocked. I thought maybe you would see this and been like, this is kind of stupid, like just ban it.
Also, my bet, Felden's Cane is 1. It's not 0.
Oh, okay.
It's 0 to play the effect.
It's a Cheerio plus 1.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to crucify me in the comments being like, Felden's Cane's not a Cheerio.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I'd like to imagine how long it took us to figure out Thoughtseize that people might be pretty lenient.
Yeah. I just with Planetary Fracture, like in Magic, like double-sided board wipes are like okay. Like if the board's really lopsided and you need like a reset, and it's like okay, that's fine.
On to card number 6.